Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking through some player props I like on Prizepicks for today's MLB slate on Friday, June the 6th. As per usual, on Friday nights for baseball, we have a full game slate, 15 games tonight. I think there is one early game that does start at 1 o'clock Eastern time, but after that, all the other games are like, after 6 o'clock Eastern, so big slate tonight. Got some plays I do like for tonight, taking a first look at the board on Thursday night, recording this video the night before. Going to give out 3 early plays I do like. We're going to break down these plays. We're going to talk about why I like them. Now, before we do get started, guys, make sure that you hit that like button down below. If you enjoyed these Prizepicks videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, be sure to sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you guys do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and place your first $5 lineup. You're going to get $50 instantly added to your account. This is an easy way to start to build your bankroll up on Prizepicks. Again, use that code NOAH if you have not signed up yet. And then I do also want to shout out Sleeper because we do have a partnership with Sleeper as well. You guys can go sign up for Sleeper. Download their app on the App Store. And when you sign up, use code NOAH and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. So whatever you put in on that first deposit, Sleeper will match it up to $100. And if you guys don't know what Sleeper is, they're a DFS pick'em app. They're very similar to Prizepicks, all the other, similar to all the other DFS pick'em apps you see around the industry. You pick more or less on projections. You build out your lineup. You can do multi-sport lineups on Sleeper. You can win up to 100x your money, and you can mix and match sports. Like I said, multi-sport lineups. And another benefit to playing on Sleeper is that they do a lot of promotions, a lot of discounts throughout the week. That's probably one of the best things about their app. All the discounts they do, all the promotions they do, giving out payout boosts, multiplier boosts, protected plays, discounts on player props. They do those almost every single day. Usually when I open the app, there's a bunch of discounts on the app. So go check them out, guys. And again, sign up, use that code NOAH if you don't have an account over on Sleeper. But yeah, let's talk about some plays that I do like for this Friday night MLB slate. Now, recapping our plays from our last video, which was, technically our last MLB video was on Wednesday. There was NBA on Thursday, so I didn't do an MLB video for Thursday. But we did give out 3 plays for Wednesday. Did go 3-0 on our 3 plays Wednesday, so hopefully you guys did tail. And then we gave out 2 NBA plays for Game 1 of the Finals on Thursday. Hit one of those plays. The other one was a push, so we still got a win there. So back-to-back wins on our last 2 videos. Hopefully we can keep that going. Keep that going into today's slate. So let's go ahead and talk about the plays I'm liking for today. And the first play I like is going to be a hitter fantasy score. And we're going to take a look at Ketel Marte. I like Ketel Marte for more than 7.5 hitter fantasy score. So this is a really good spot for Ketel Marte going up against Nick Lodolo. Now, Nick Lodolo, not a bad pitcher by any means, but he is definitely a guy that you can attack, especially with right-handed hitters. Right-handed hitters have had much more success against Lodolo than lefties have. I want to say this season, Lodolo's actually, I think he's actually kind of been bad against lefties this season, but it's a small sample. Throughout his career, he's typically been worse against right-handed hitters. And if you're gonna have success against Lodolo, usually it's gonna be righties. This season, though, he has had trouble with lefties, but it's kind of a small sample. He hasn't really faced a lot of lefties. But Ketel Marte, he's a switch hitter, so when he faces a left-handed pitcher, he'll bat right-handed. And Ketel Marte has historically been really good against left-handed pitching. He's historically been better, facing lefties than righties. If you look in his career, Ketel Marte for his career batting .307 against left-handed pitching, whereas against right-handed pitching batting just .268. And then if you look at some of his other stats as well, his on-base percentage is 22 points higher versus left-handed pitching. His slugging is almost 100 points higher. His OPS is over 100 points higher. His ISO is about 70 or 60 points higher. And then his WRC plus, he has a 138 WRC plus versus left-handed pitching for his career, whereas versus right-handed pitching, 111. So Ketel Marte just historically throughout his career been really good against left-handed pitching. Now this season, if you actually look at his splits this season, he's actually been worse against left-handed pitching this season, but I'm not really buying into that at all because you look at last season, Marte was significantly better against lefties than righties last season. It was the same in 2023. It was the same in 2022. All of his last pretty much every season of his career, he's been better against left-handed pitching. All the way up until like 2019, he was a little bit better in terms of average. Even in 2019, he still had a higher average against lefties. So like every season of his career, he's been better against left-handed pitching. It hasn't been the case this season, but that could just be small sample. I don't know how many lefties he's faced. He only has 44 at-bats against lefties this year, which is not a crazy amount compared to against righties. He has 79 at-bats. So I'm expecting Marte to still be really good against left-handed pitching like he has been throughout his career. I do like this matchup for him against Lodolo. This is also a game that's going to be played in Cincinnati, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. The Reds do play in a great hitter's park, great American ballpark. It's always played as a hitter-friendly ballpark. And then another thing that I like that I looked at is if you look at Lodolo's pitch mix, if you look at the pitches that he throws, Lodolo does throw 4 pitches, but his 2 primary pitches are fastball and curveball. Those are the 2 pitches he's throwing the most this season. He's throwing those 2 pitches about 56% of the time, and then he'll mix in a changeup, he'll mix in a sinker. But his 2 primary pitches are fastball and curveball. And if you look at Ketel Marte this season, great numbers versus both fastballs and curveballs. 375 average, 775 slug versus fastballs, and then versus curveballs, 400 average, 400 slug. Not as much power against curveballs, but really good batting average, batting 400 against the curveballs. So really, a lot of boxes that we can check here for Ketel Marte. Like this spot a lot for him. Do like him for more than 7.5 hitter fantasy score. If you don't have access to fantasy score, like if you're taking a sportsbook prop, I do like Ketel Marte for more than 1.5 total bases as well. I think that's totally a fine play. Ketel Marte, he can get walked. I don't think he'll steal any bases this season. He's only stole 2 bases, so like you're probably not going to get like stolen base potential, but he could definitely get some walks, maybe some RBIs, some runs, and obviously for fantasy score, you do get points for all that. So that's why I typically like fantasy score a little bit more than total bases, but it kind of all depends on the player, the projection, where the line is set at. For Ketel Marte, though, at 1.5 total bases, I think that is a solid play too. But I'm going to take his fantasy score. That's going to be our first play for today. Now, the next play that I like is going to be a total bases prop. We're going to take Juan Soto for more than 1.5 total bases. Now, you can see Juan Soto has some really high lines today. 2.5 hit runs RBIs prop, 10.5 hitter fantasy score prop, which is one of the higher lines I've seen on a hitter fantasy score this season. And the reason the lines are so high on Soto here, and if you look at a lot of the Mets hitters, a lot of the Mets have high projections today because they're going to be going into Coors Field. For those of you that are unaware, the Rockies ballpark, Coors Field, it's the most hitter-friendly ballpark. I don't know exactly why. I know it has to do with like the altitude, playing in the mountains and the mile high. The ball just travels more in Coors Field. I'm sure there's articles you could look up to see why Coors Field is such a hitter-friendly ballpark. But it's always been the best hitter's park in the game. So this is a spot where the Mets are going to be going into a great hitter's park, and they're going to be facing a really bad pitcher. Antonio Senzatella is going to be pitching for the Rockies today, and Senzatella has just been terrible this season. He's been like one of the worst pitchers in the league. If you look at his expected ERA is 7.25, which is bottom 2% in the league. His expected batting average is 346, which is bottom 1% in the league. And then if you look at his like strikeout metrics, Senzatella doesn't strike anyone out. He has an 11% strikeout rate, which is bottom 1% in the league. That's one of the lowest strikeout rates you'll see among starting pitchers. So this is a spot where the Mets are going to be able to just put balls in play. Like Senzatella is going to be throwing a bunch of meatballs down the middle, and these guys are just going to be able to kind of tee off on him. I think we're going to see the Mets put up plenty of runs tonight. I mean, the Mets have a 7 implied run total, so obviously Vegas is expecting a lot of runs from the Mets here. And if there's going to be a guy that I want to look at for the Mets, for a prop, it's definitely going to be Juan Soto, who's been hitting the ball really well as of late. Now, the last few games, he has gone under this total bases line. Like, he had some, really good series to start the Dodgers series, and then the last 2 games against the Dodgers, he has gone hitless. But he's just been taking a lot of walks his last few games. I'm not too worried about him getting walked a bunch, though, in this series, unless they intentionally walk him, which obviously hopefully they don't. But if you look at Senzatella, one thing Senzatella is good at is he doesn't really walk a lot of batters. He has just a 6% walk rate this season, which is that ranks in the 81st percentile. So Senzatella, although he doesn't strike many guys out, he also doesn't really walk many batters. So I think we're going to see Senzatella throwing strikes. The Mets are going to be able to put balls in play And Juan Soto, I mean, he's one of the best hitters in the league. I don't really need to tell you that. You can look at his stats. I mean, he's in terms of his expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging. Like, he ranks towards the top of the league in almost like every advanced hitter metric that you want to look at. He doesn't strike out at all. I mean, he has one of the lowest strikeout rates too. This is just a great spot for Juan Soto, facing a pitcher who just has been terrible this season, and also a pitcher that doesn't really walk guys. So Soto's going to have the opportunity to put balls in play. And if you look at Soto's this season, if you look at like the pitches that he has hit really well, throughout his career, Soto has always been a great fastball hitter. Like last season with the Yankees, Soto was like the best fastball hitter in the league. And like I think he's been like one of the best fastball hitters in the league all throughout his career. Antonio Senzatella relies heavily on his fastball. He's thrown his fastball over 52% of the time this season. So, I mean, Senzatella is a heavy fastball pitcher. Soto, one of the best fastball hitters in the league. Great hitter's park. Really, you could check all the boxes here. So, I do like Juan Soto for more than 1.5 total bases. I think I like this definitely more than some of his other props. Like, his fantasy score, obviously, really high line. And, Soto can get walks. He can get RBIs. He can get runs scored. So, sure, he could go over fantasy score without going over total bases, but I have a hard time seeing that happen. The only way that would happen is if he gets like a single, 2 RBIs, scores a run, gets walked. Like he would need a lot to go right to get 11 fantasy points without getting 2 total bases. So I definitely like total bases the most on Juan Soto, but I also don't even mind taking the over on his 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Just think it's a great spot for Soto. I think it's a great spot for the Mets to put up some runs tonight. And Soto specifically, I do like a lot in this matchup. Also, if you look at Soto's career numbers in Coors Field, he's, to no surprise, he's been great in Coors Field, batting .291, has 8 home runs in 21 games played at Coors. OPS over 1,000 in the games that he's played at Coors in his career. So that's not surprising either. He's been great in this ballpark, which already is a great hitter's park. So that's the second play I like for today. And then the third and final prop that I like is going to be in that same game. We're going to go to Kodai Senga, and we're going to take Senga for more than 6.5 strikeouts. So Senga, if you look at some of his games lately in terms of strikeouts, he's had some good games against this same Rockies team. Did have 7 Ks in his last start, had 7 Ks against Pittsburgh, but then he only had 5 against the Dodgers. Not the greatest strikeout matchup. Had 5 against the Red Sox, 4 against Arizona. Senga so far in the league, like, he's only been in the league like 2 seasons. He's had 3 seasons in the league, but like last season he didn't really pitch much at all before he got injured. But in his rookie year, he was really good, had a 29% strikeout rate. So far this season, his strikeout rate is down to 23.5%. But I think one of the reasons that his strikeout rate is a little bit down this year is because he has had some tougher matchups for strikeouts. If you look at the teams that Senga's faced this season, so to start the season, he faced the Marlins twice, which I'm pretty sure this season against right-handed pitching, the Marlins, they've just kind of been like a league average K team. He faced the Athletics. The Athletics have not been striking out as much this season. They rank below league average. The Nationals, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, who he had to face twice, those teams all don't strike out at all. The Cardinals have one of the lowest strikeout rates against right-handed pitching. So do the Diamondbacks. And the Nationals, I think they're like bottom 5 in strikeout rate as well against right-handed pitching. So those are all terrible matchups for Ks. Then he did face Pittsburgh, which was a good matchup, had 7 Ks. He faced Boston, which was a pretty solid matchup. Boston top 5 in K rate. Only had 5 Ks against Boston. And then he faced the Dodgers. Obviously not a great matchup there. The Dodgers, in terms of strikeout rate, they're about league average. And then Colorado, his last start, did have 7 Ks. But when he's gotten good strikeout matchups, he's been pretty good. 7 Ks against Colorado, 7 Ks against Pittsburgh. 8 Ks against Miami to start the season. He just had a lot of tougher matchups kind of sandwiched in between that. But this is a pitcher that has still shown throughout his career to be a good strikeout pitcher. And now he's getting a great matchup for strikeouts going up against the Rockies. The Rockies do have one of the highest strikeout rates in the league this season. They actually lead the league in strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching. And even if you look at home, even playing in the hitter-friendly ballpark that is Coors Field, even playing at home this season, the Rockies still have a 25% strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching, which is second most in the league. So you would think Colorado would strike out less at home, which they have a little bit, but not much. I mean, they're still a very high K team. Obviously, going into a hitter's park, there's a chance that Senga does struggle a little bit here. Maybe he gives up some runs, but I still think the strikeout potential is going to be there. facing a Rockies team that just has so many guys in their lineup that strike out a lot. I mean, you look up and down this lineup, there's just a bunch of guys that will strike out. I mean, I could take a look at their, like, I think, you know, Tario Estrada is not a super high K guy, but, like, I know McMahon will strike out, Doyle strikes out a lot, Hero will strike out, Moniak, I think, strikes out a lot. Like, they just have a lot of guys in this lineup that are going to K, that will swing and miss. I would assume probably 6, if not 7 of the 9 hitters in their projected lineup probably have, like, at least 24, 25% strikeout rates, which is above average. There's maybe only like 1 or 2 guys with low K rates, probably Estrada. Orlando Arcia, I think, for his career has been kind of a lower K guy, but maybe as of late that hasn't been the case. I want to take a look at that real quick. Let's see. So this season, Orlando Arcia, 22% strikeout rate, so like kind of league average there. But yeah, there's a lot of high K guys in this Rockies lineup, and this is a great matchup for Senga to be able to rack up some strikeouts. So do like him for more than 6.5 Ks here. These are going to be our 3 plays, guys, for today's Friday slate. Big slate, obviously. Usually every Friday in the MLB streets, there's going to be a lot of games. Got a lot of games on Friday night. Got 3 early plays for this slate that I do like, taking a first look at the board on Thursday night. And as always, guys, appreciate your support on these Prizepicks videos. Appreciate you guys checking out the videos. Make sure to hit that like button down below if you do enjoy these videos. Hit that subscribe button as well. And make sure to go check out Prizepicks too. If you're not signed up for Prizepicks yet, again, use that promo code NOAH, and you will get $50 in promo funds instantly added to your account when you play your first $5 lineup over on Prizepicks. But good luck tonight, guys. Let's win some money, and I'll see you guys in the next video.